Hey guys, I am Dani and this is Summer Skye Gardens. So today I figured it would be a good time for me to show you kind of an update on how my spring flower garden looks. This year I'm growing all flowers, going really like to the max with as many flowers as I can grow. I've got stuff in beds, in grow bags, in crates, in pots, anywhere I can fit a flower. I've got it planted. So it's starting to warm up a little and things are really starting to take off. I've even harvested a few flowers already. So I thought I would show you around, show you how everything's doing, show you what all I'm growing, and just give you a general update on how everything's growing. As always, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss my next videos. And also be sure you're following me on Instagram at Summer Skye Gardens. I share a lot more day-to-day info in my stories, as well as posts and reels and stuff. So go check that out and let's walk out here to the garden. All right, so just in general, so you can see kind of from my back patio, here's where I have my pollinator garden, and we'll get a lot closer here in a second. I have all my raised beds here, along with all sorts of grow bags and pots and crates, all in the middle. And then over here in the corner is the rose garden. And then I have a few little items over here. So let's first see what's up here on the patio. So this crate has all anemones, this grow bag has anemones, and this crate has ranunculus. So this year I'm kind of trialing like how do things do in crates versus grow bags versus raised beds. So far these are okay. I've moved them here to the patio so they could get some more sun. Some more shade, just because it's been warming up so much quicker. And I need these to keep growing and keep blooming. You can see I've got my first ranunculus bloom right here. Stem's a little short, but that's okay. And then over here next to my azaleas, I put some of my tulips. The tulips in the crates have done well so far. I've already harvested some, but as I said, it's been warming up. And for instance, you can see this one, it is so short and already has a bud on it, and it should lengthen and I'll be able to pull it and get it to lengthen more. But you know, these were all these were all cooled in my refrigerator, these bulbs, for at least 12 weeks. So I know it's not an issue of the bulbs cooling, and I've been keeping up with watering them. So I have to just think that it's the warmer weather. So I'm just seeing if I keep them in the shade, if they'll get taller and keep growing well. All right, let's go over here to the rose garden. And you can see here I've got my lavender and a little milkweed plant. I came in and pruned all my roses a couple weeks ago. They look really, really good. A lot of growth. No buds back here yet, and that's fine. It's just now warming up, and I did just prune them. But they all look really healthy. Here's my Peggy Martin along the fence. Looks great. And then I thought it was funny, I have some random seedlings popping up. Like this is some type of parsley. So I'm just letting it grow. It just fixated itself in the mulch. I wanted to see if it would flower and how it looks. And then I'm pretty sure that's like a volunteer rudbeckia. So yeah, these are looking really good. Ooh, this one already has a little bud on it. So very excited. This will be the second year for all these roses, so very excited to see how they do. All right, so coming over here to the raised bed. So this one I planted a mix of like Amy, dill, Dara, whatever you want to call them. Pretty much I just call them all lace flowers. Some of them are blooming, so I'm just trying to figure out how they're all gonna look. This is supposed to be like a good filler, so just trying to kind of keep an eye out here. I mean, it's just like a huge mix of stuff, but it's growing really nicely. So I'm excited to see how it's all gonna do. And then over here in this bed is Bells of Ireland, and I had 2 successions and then a third. These 2 didn't germinate, but these 2 did. They're still kind of small, but they'll get bigger. These are looking really, really healthy. And if you look here, you can see this one is starting to create some bells. So that's super fun. This is the first year that I've grown these, and they've done really, really well. As you can see, they get huge and bushy. And then right here, this is a crate of lilies that I planted, so they're all growing really nicely. Definitely say that lilies in crates do really, really good. This was like a later succession I planted. This is, ooh, I've got a rock in my shoe. This is on the first succession. So they're all budding up. I'm just waiting for them to ripen. Now this bed is all blue plurum. And as you can see, like some in the back have really started to take off. The ones in the front are growing a little slower. I'm not sure how the heat's gonna affect them. I have a little volunteer pansy. But pretty sure they're getting close to flowering, as you can see here at the top. So yeah, first year growing these as well. Excited to see how they do. This is a bag of poppies. Have a couple of buds poking in. Right here, this grow bag, I planted mignonette, which makes these really pretty little white flowers. Ooh, what is that? Oh Lord, I don't know what bug that was. So these are looking really good. And then I had these volunteer, well, not volunteer, but I guess I had some old daffodil bulbs in here. I didn't think I did, and I already harvested them. And these were little minnow daffodils, which are really cute and smell really, really good. Now this bed is all ranunculus and anemones, and because it's been warming up, I decided to try shading it and see if I could keep them cooler to get, you know, flowering, because when anemones and ranunculus get up to, you know, in the 70s or 80s, they're gonna stop flowering and try to go dormant. And that's what we've been having, that kind of weather. And I think that they're liking it. My ranunculus got hit by the freeze we had in December, but they've all grown back. Some of them did not sprout. But overall, these in the raised bed look a lot better than my ones in my crate. The anemones are doing good, getting a couple of bulbs. Let me go around to the other side. All right, here's the other side. I already harvested a bunch of tulips that were right here. And you can see a few blooms. And then a bunch poking up, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks these should really like take off. And then in these little grow bags are my mums from this past year. I cut them down and overwintered them, and now they're starting to grow back and look great. In these grow bags I have yarrow, and a couple of them are budding up. Okay, more yarrow right here, and then in these couple of beds I have status, and they have really like just now put out these stems and blooms, so hopefully they'll be in bloom in the next week or two and I can use them for my farmer's market. They look really good. They've done really good in the grow bags. This is another bed of anemones. I'm not shading these, so I can kind of compare this bed to this bed. You know, does the shading affect the number of flowers or how long the stems get? Last year I didn't shade my anemones and they did great. Starting to get buds here. There's another bag of mignonette. And then I also got some eucalyptus plugs that for now, because they're so little, I'm just growing in these little pots with the thought that I'll probably keep a handful. So pretty. I'll keep a handful to grow as perennials, probably in some bigger pots or grow bags, and then I'll probably end up selling some of the others. Now this bed is really interesting. So in the fall, when I did my first succession, this was all snapdragons, this was all stock. And then December came and we had a really hard freeze for 5 days. We had single digits, my covers blew off, so everything got hit. And I had a few that survived, and those are the ones that are a lot bigger, but a lot of them died back. So I had to do a second succession of stock, which are these little ones, and then I decided not to do any more snapdragons, just let grow whatever will grow. But I also have a bunch of volunteer seedlings because I had a lot of different flowers growing here last year. Like I've got some volunteer poppies, some volunteer like feverfew. There's another big poppy, so I'm just letting those grow just to see what happens. This might be a weed or it might be something else, I have no idea. And then I planted over here a couple of status, and then I had some more status. These are plugs that I ordered. It's like a blue purpley color, and I ran out of room, so they're in pots and they're doing okay for the moment. Here's another crate of tulips. I already planted a couple of dahlias in this crate. And then right here, I'm starting to harden off my first succession of the annuals for kind of late spring, summer, fall. So a bunch of zinnias, a couple of types of cress. These bigger zinnias I'm going to be selling at my farmer's market. I have a couple of types of basil, some mint, strawflower, gomphrena, mahogany splendor hibiscus, amaranth, and then a few types of celosia. And then I've also just planted some sunflowers in the front. All right, lastly here in the back is my pollinator bed. So it looks like a lot of weeds, but it's actually a lot of wildflowers, and I don't really weed this. I just let everything grow. If there's any kind of weeds right now, I'm letting them flower because the bees really need them. I've already seen a couple of bees outside. Oh, and there's I don't know if that's a mason bee or a wasp trying to get in the little house. I don't know where it went. But anyways, they have very little food this time of year, so it's good to let, if you can, try to let things flower. But I have a big salvia here that always dies back, grows real big. Planted a lot of blue bonnets. And you can see a couple are already trying to flower. Got some milkweed that always dies back and then grows every year. Some more salvia, some butterfly bush. This is a really pretty bee balm, which the bees just love and also makes a great cut flower. These are all milkweeds. I've got a clematis here that I don't know if it died back or is dead, so we'll just see what happens. But all of this should really explode this next month with getting like huge and tall and flowering. That's my giant milkweed. It'll grow back. My Carolina jessamine, which is a really pretty native Texas vine, has like these cute little yellow flowers that the bees really love. And that's already been blooming, which is super fun. So that's kind of everything for the backyard. So just a few sporadic blooms in the last few weeks, but definitely in the next month, it's gonna really explode with flowers. So like I said, make sure you stay tuned to my Instagram so you can see how everything looks. I do have a few things to show you in my front landscaping bed, so let's go up there real quick. So real quick before we walk around the front, and I'm already sweating because it's starting to turn hot and humid. I bought this smaller stand-up refrigerator from a neighbor for a really good price, and I've been using it to store my tulip bulbs as well as the tulips that I've harvested so far. So let me show you how it looks. So you can see here it's probably like, I don't know, what, 4 feet tall. It's kind of the perfect size for me right this second. I removed a few shelves. I have a thermometer. I can't really get it too much lower than about 44 degrees, but that seems to be doing fine. And I've been dry storing my tulips. So you just pull them out with the bulb and they'll be okay in here for up to 2 weeks. And then when you're ready to use them, you just cut the bulb off and then you put them in water and they'll start to open up and get a lot longer. And usually I've been keeping them in buckets, but this is just one that I yanked out from the front the other day, so I'm just keeping it like that for now. Alright, so here is the front, and I have a hodgepodge of wildflowers growing, a couple of volunteer, that's like a rudbeckia, a sunflower, some pansies, here's some more eucalyptus, and then I got these flower pots from Kroger after their Valentine's sales. So I'm actually using some of those to plant dahlias, and I'm going to try this out so that way I can move them around. I've got some tulips planted up here, some mums, and then these are more dahlias. And then back here is just a hodgepodge of wildflowers, some volunteers from last year, rudbeckia, a bunch of milkweed. This is my olive tree, and then my blackberry bush, which is starting to bloom to make blackberries. So over here in this big area is where I planted a bunch of sunflower seeds, and you can see a couple of them are sprouting. And then a lot of wildflowers. I got a few new roses. So here is Princess Charlene de Monaco. Some more wildflowers. I've got a lot of open space from pulling out some shrubs, and I'll be planting flowers up here as well. Here's another new rose, Cathedral Bells. This is one of my roses. I think this is Fun in the Sun. Got a bloom here. Very pretty. I've got some feverfew up here. More roses. A huge patch of wildflowers right here. Roses, roses. Mainly the front is wildflowers and roses right now. Some rudbeckia volunteers that I'm just letting grow. And all these cute little wildflowers that are popping up, which are so good for the pollinators. Let's see if I can get a picture. Closer video. Oh, it won't focus. There we go. Whew. Okay, had to come back inside because it is just so hot, and I was trying really hard not to sweat. It says it's 84 but feels like 87, but you can definitely feel the humidity starting. And I love spring and summer, but my body's just not quite used to it yet. But that's it. That's kind of a tour of everything that I have growing in my garden. Like I said, this year, I'm really not growing any vegetables or fruit because I really wanted to go hard on the flowers and be very intensive. So that means I'm making use of every square inch of soil I can and trying to have it be where I always have something planted in a spot. I don't like to have any bare open soil because I want things to be growing, and I don't want weeds to be growing that I have to pull out. So we'll see what all I can manage. Stay tuned. I'll be sharing more updates as the growing season goes. I'll show you guys how my summer garden will look and into the fall, and I'll be starting my farmers markets in March. So we'll see how that goes. But thank y'all for tuning in today, and I will see you next time.